The first car looked like a corpse. Its hood was crushed, its paint peeled away by years of neglect, and weeds had grown through the cracked concrete beneath it. Most people walked past it without a second glance. The workers at the luxury storage facility called it junk. The billionaire owner called it a mistake. But for one struggling single father, that rusted machine looked like hope. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that someone's greatest failure can become another person's greatest opportunity, take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire for more powerful stories that touch the heart. The morning sun hung bright over the city as Rowan Mercer stood outside a chain-link fence, staring at 10 abandoned vehicles lined up in a forgotten corner of an industrial lot. Sweat rolled down his forehead as he held the hand of his 8-year-old daughter, Hazel. Life had become a daily battle. 3 years earlier, Rowan had lost his wife to a sudden illness. In a matter of months, grief had stolen the love of his life, medical bills had drained their savings, and debt had swallowed everything he owned. Now he worked 2 jobs. During the day he repaired engines at a small garage. At night he cleaned office buildings. Sleep came in short fragments. Meals were often skipped. Every dollar was carefully counted. Yet through all the hardship, Hazel remained his reason to keep moving forward. Every morning she left little notes in his lunchbox. "You can do it, Dad. I'm proud of you. We're a team." Those tiny pieces of paper carried him through the darkest days. One afternoon Rowan overheard mechanics discussing a wealthy businesswoman named Vivian Ashcroft. Vivian was famous throughout the city. She owned luxury hotels, tech companies, and private aviation businesses. Her fortune was estimated in the billions. People admired her success. Others feared her cold business decisions. Recently she had purchased an entire collection of exotic vehicles from a failed investment project. The collection contained 10 rare cars that experts claimed would cost more to repair than they were worth. Rather than waste time on them, Vivian ordered them removed from her property. To her, they were liabilities. To everyone else, they were junk. Rowan couldn't stop thinking about those cars. For weeks the idea haunted him. Late at night he studied repair manuals online. He watched restoration videos. He researched vehicle auctions and collector markets. Something deep inside him whispered that everyone might be wrong. Finally, after gathering every bit of courage he had left, Rowan contacted the storage facility. The manager laughed when he arrived. The vehicles looked terrible. Several had flood damage. Some had missing parts. One had severe electrical failures. Another hadn't run in nearly a decade. Experts had examined them already. No one wanted them. The manager offered all 10 vehicles for a price so low it almost sounded like a joke. Unfortunately, Rowan didn't even have that amount. That evening he sat at the kitchen table while Hazel colored pictures beside him. Bills covered the surface. Electric bills. Rent notices. Credit card statements. The numbers felt impossible. Then Hazel placed a drawing in front of him. It showed a father and daughter standing beside a shining red car. Above them she had written 4 simple words. "Good things are coming." Rowan stared at the drawing for a long time. The next morning he made the most frightening decision of his life. He sold nearly everything he could. His motorcycle. His tools. His television. Old collectibles he had inherited from his grandfather. Friends thought he was making a terrible mistake. Family members begged him to reconsider. But Rowan trusted his instincts. Within days, the 10 abandoned vehicles became his. The challenge ahead was overwhelming. Every day after work he drove to a rented warehouse. While others slept, Rowan worked. He stripped engines. Repaired transmissions. Cleaned fuel systems. Track down rare parts. Learn specialized restoration techniques. The warehouse became his second home. Sometimes Hazel sat nearby doing homework while he worked under fluorescent lights. She handed him tools. Helped organize bolts. Swept the floor. Together they created a routine built on determination and hope. Months passed. Then a year. Financially, things became worse before they became better. There were moments Rowan nearly quit. Unexpected repairs consumed his savings. Rare components cost thousands of dollars. Several buyers backed out at the last minute. The pressure felt unbearable. One particularly difficult afternoon, Rowan received a notice threatening eviction. He sat alone in the warehouse staring at unfinished vehicles. For the first time, tears filled his eyes. He wondered if everyone had been right. Maybe he had gambled away their future. Maybe he had failed Hazel. As he sat there defeated, he noticed something folded beneath a toolbox. It was another note from his daughter. "Dad, heroes don't quit." The tears finally fell. But so did something else. His fear. The next morning he returned stronger than ever. Year 2 brought unexpected progress. One completed restoration attracted attention online. A collector from another state purchased the vehicle for nearly 6 times Rowan's investment. The sale changed everything. For the first time in years, he paid every bill on time. Soon another collector contacted him. Then another. Word spread through automotive communities. People couldn't believe the quality of Rowan's work. The man who had once been mocked for buying junk cars was becoming known as a restoration genius. The transformations were astonishing. Beneath years of neglect, each vehicle contained hidden value. Rare engineering. Limited production numbers. Historical significance. What others saw as broken, Rowan saw as unfinished. His reputation continued growing. Video creators documented his projects. Car magazines featured his work. Auction houses invited him to exclusive events. Yet despite increasing success, Rowan remained humble. Every evening he returned home to Hazel. Every weekend they shared simple traditions. Ice cream after church. Walks through local parks. Movie nights on the couch. The money was helping. But family remained his greatest treasure. Then came the moment that changed everything. One of the restored vehicles turned out to be far more valuable than anyone realized. Experts discovered it was one of only a handful remaining in existence. After a heated international bidding war, the car sold for several $1,000,000. News outlets exploded with the story. Headlines appeared everywhere. The single dad who saw treasure in trash. The forgotten cars worth millions. The restoration miracle. The value of Rowan's collection skyrocketed overnight. Investors approached him. Collectors competed for opportunities. Major companies offered partnerships. Within months, the total value generated from the 10 abandoned vehicles exceeded $10 million. 10 million. The number felt surreal. The man who once worried about grocery money had built an empire from what others discarded. Ironically, the story eventually reached Vivian Ashcroft. The billionaire woman who had thrown away the cars couldn't believe what she was hearing. Curious, she arranged a meeting. On a bright afternoon, Rowan walked into one of her corporate offices. Reporters expected tension. Some anticipated confrontation. Instead, something remarkable happened. Vivian listened carefully as Rowan described the journey. He spoke about sleepless nights. The sacrifices. The lessons learned. The notes Hazel left behind. The hope that carried them through impossible circumstances. For the first time in years, Vivian appeared genuinely emotional. Despite her immense wealth, she admitted that somewhere along her rise to success, she had forgotten how to recognize potential beneath imperfections. The cars had seemed broken. So she discarded them. Rowan had looked deeper. That difference changed everything. The meeting ended with unexpected respect between them. Soon afterward, Vivian invested in Rowan's growing restoration company. Together they launched programs helping struggling families learn mechanical skills and start businesses of their own. The impact spread far beyond money. Hundreds of lives began changing. Parents found employment. Young people gained opportunities. Communities grew stronger. The fortune created by those 10 forgotten cars became a force for good. Years later, Rowan stood on a stage receiving an award for entrepreneurship and community leadership. Thousands filled the audience. Cameras flashed. Applause echoed through the room. Yet his eyes searched for only one person. Hazel. Now a teenager, she sat proudly in the front row. The same little girl who had handed him tools. The same little girl who had written encouraging notes. The same little girl who believed in him when nobody else did. As Rowan accepted the award, he reflected on the extraordinary journey. The world had called the cars broken. But perhaps the vehicles weren't the only things people underestimated. Sometimes opportunities arrive disguised as problems. Sometimes treasure hides beneath rust. Sometimes success grows from heartbreak. And sometimes a single parent carrying unimaginable burdens discovers strength they never knew existed. If this story has touched your heart so far, please take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire. Your support helps these inspiring stories reach more people around the world. Red Heart special request: comment below with the words, "Second chances change lives," if you believe every person and every situation deserves another opportunity. As the sun set that evening, Rowan and Hazel drove together along a quiet country road. The sky glowed gold. The future stretched endlessly before them. The millions mattered. The success mattered. But the greatest victory wasn't the fortune. It was proving that what the world calls broken is not always broken. Sometimes it simply needs someone willing to believe. And that belief can change everything. Because in the end, the billionaire lost sight of possibility. The single dad never did. And that made all the difference.